Hey guys, welcome back. So we have a brand new product. It's always a launch time for Callaway in the fall. They always launch a sort of a niche product, something that's a kind of filler, maybe something with some new tech that they've been working on throughout the season, any breakthroughs they had, sort of that they released in the early season, and they evolve, and that's exactly what's happened. So today we've got the new Epic Forged line. So this is a sort of an evolution of the first Epic iron. You guys may remember a few years back, Callaway get into the high-end market with two, actually, the Epic iron and the Epic Pro. Phil Mickelson used the 4 iron of the Pro, and it was successful for them as a distance iron, but it was limited. It was limited in a bunch of different ways, and one of the main ways was how rigid the body was.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Good for ball speed and rebound speed and all that sort of stuff, but for customization, for feel, all that sort of stuff, not ideal.
So tough to make a line go flat or upright for a customer?
Very, very difficult.
Or maybe a loft weaker or stronger?
I mean, to the point where even if someone get good performance in here with it, we would kind of maybe push them away from it if they didn't sort of, or if they needed them to be, you know, too or even slightly more flat or upright, just too difficult to kind of bend them and stress the structure of the club.
So sounds like they've solved that issue by having the body forged, and
Correct.
Callaway was nice enough to give us all the different components here, so you'll see close-ups of those.
Yeah.
So the body is made of what kind of?
1025 steel.
So soft.
Very, very soft. I mean, as soft as any Japanese forged club, basically.
Really, that soft? Okay.
That soft. So
that gives you the ability to make it as flat, upright, strong, weak as you need to do.
As whatever you need it to be.
Gotcha.
Right. So you've got the face technology, which as you can see has got VFT. So you know, that's been in Callaway for a long time. The variable face thickness.
A little thicker behind the ball.
A little bit thicker.
But super thin in general.
I mean, if you
paper thin.
When you see the side of that, it literally is paper thin. So that's where obviously all the speed is coming from.
Right.
So the other parts we've kind of got, the part that really is the sort of very impressive part when you hold it is this tungsten weight that they've got sort of in the toe there. So that sits kind of back in here.
And it's low in the toe, right? Right at the bottom of
Correct.
right at the bottom of the iron. And that weighs about 30 grams,
30
you were saying,
grams,
this insert here?
for that part. So you've also got vibration dampening from the sort of the rubber piece there. And then you've got your tungsten plug, which out in the toe and low is really going to increase the MOI of the iron.
Right.
Really going to stabilize that head and make sure all those mishits are really well protected.
The piece at the back, which is, I guess you consider the badge, is that, sorry, I'm dropping it. It's a rubbery piece as well. Is that to dampen some vibrations too?
And there's a lot of sort of acoustic performance that comes out of these parts as well. The material obviously plays to the sound that the player sort of is exposed to, which is a big bearing on the feel. We always talk about that. You know, the sort of sound of certain products is a direct sort of correlation to how a player feels the club.
So with all that going on, I would say it looks fairly clean from a design perspective. It's not overly, it's not loud in any way. It's quite sleek and doesn't look super kind of chunky or anything like that. It looks
Far
like
from it.
A fairly kind of player's shape.
It's the thing that players look at first when you give them these distance irons. And guys, this is a distance iron to the point where it's probably the longest iron we've ever tested. I mean, you were watching some of us.
The boys were in here hitting some just absurd. Cam was hitting 6 irons like 250 yards.
250 yards. The 4 iron, a few of us had the 4 iron going 275 yards.
It's crazy.
It's wild.
Like that's longer than driving irons go when you think about it.
Absolutely.
That was a 4 iron.
It was a 4 iron. So this is going to really appeal, Matty. And this is obviously the main kind of thing here is who is the target customer. Anyone who feels like they're being shorted a little bit in distance. Maybe they hit their driver quite far, but their irons haven't quite kind of caught up to that. Maybe they're losing some speed and they're looking just to kind of take a little jump back up. That's exactly who this is for. It is in that elite price bracket.
Yeah, it's not a cheap club by any means, is it?
By no means. So it's going to be not quite PXG, but even more than the Japanese Miura, Epon in that kind of category. So it's in this sort of concept range.
Yeah, just below the Titleist ones.
Yeah, just below Titleist. So
but obviously going to be quite an investment for per club price is quite up there.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so what we did is you hit your 6 iron. We've got your 6 iron numbers.
Got the numbers right there.
Pull those up right now.
So we had we kind of had a little look at, and you guys know where my numbers are generally speaking by now anyway, so I'm a kind of a 190, carry guy, 194 tonight, which was probably on the higher end for me with my own Strixon.
Yep. Around 130 ball speed is usually where you sit.
Yeah, 130 ball, 18 launch, high force.
Right.
Those are great numbers.
Those are great numbers for you. Good dispersion and everything, so we know what to expect. So I don't want to predict anything, but I'm assuming that given yours are fairly traditional, modern traditional, we're going to be looking for, you could be looking at 20 yards, 15 yards, something crazy like that with this.
I would fully expect this to be in the 215 on the fly category.
Right, so it's solid 20 yards.
A big difference for me
okay.
On that. So the lofts are stronger. We can't kind of skip past without talking about that. But here's the thing, guys, and this is where the argument kind of falls a bit flat. I expect this, regardless of the stronger loft, to go higher than my own iron.
Yep.
So for the people who need this distance, don't be put off thinking that the lofts are stronger, so you won't be able to hold a green. That's just not the case.
No, because the height is coming from ball speed.
Correct. That's it. So the land angle will have a sort of, or the height will have an effect on the land angle, and the stopping power, and all that sort of thing.
So we'll be able to compare those numbers afterwards and assess how the ball will actually stop.
Yeah, we will.
Okay. So why don't you take your crack at these?
Okay.
You hit the 4 iron earlier, but you haven't hit the 6 yet.
I haven't hit the 6. Actually, I've never hit the 6 yet. You're absolutely right.
I'm moving the green for you. I'll move it to 215.
Perfect.
Let's see how that suits you. I have a feeling it'll be just fine.
That was quite nice.
It's hammered.
That was a little bit off the sole.
Okay, well, almost flew 215.
Okay.
That sounded really good.
A little bit more spin on it, that one.
Yep. That flew exactly 215.
Okay.
They sound really good.
They do, don't they? They feel great. They feel soft.
They don't sound silly at all. They sound actually a lot like yours. Just sounds hammered.
And bear in mind, I mean, we're talking about mere mortals being able to achieve PGA Tour average numbers here. Right. So like that there was 137. PGA Tour average 6 iron speeds 127. Right. So
you're taking someone that's below that by a lot.
So somebody who's like 117, 118, and that's a lot of people out there.
Yep.
Potentially giving them 10 miles an hour, and they can all of a sudden have those types of speeds. You can't tell me that doesn't make the game easier.
No.
It just does.
It makes a big difference. That sounded really good. Is that flush?
It was okay. I mean, like, I think
That was okay.
it was okay. It's 215 there, it's okay.
It's very consistent. I mean, if anyone's thinking, oh, all these irons give me jumpy yardages, they all go different distances, it's nonsense. You've been within 3-4 yards.
They've been really close, haven't they? It'll be interesting to see at the end.
You flush one 216 and you thinned one 213. I mean, there's not too much negative to say about that.
Okay. Let's see. This got to have over 140 ball speed if we want it.
Some club head speed on that.
Okay, so that was...
So that's you moving it a bit. That's going. 220 in the air.
I mean, it is so fast. So fast, but it feels great.
What was that ball speed?
3.7. But look at the height. It's peaking at 115.
Yeah. Crazy. Good swing, bud. Just a hair thin.
A hair thin, but
that's a good
all
club.
over the pin.
It's a good club on the low end, isn't it?
So I hit those okay. Those were decent and fine.
A couple really good ones, but a few thin ones.
A few thin ones.
We called earlier that we would probably see that trajectory graphic showing the Epic Forge being in fact higher. Let's see if that held
It's
up.
going to be very similar.
Yeah, it's almost exactly the same.
Right. So if you take that extra velocity and it kind of cancels out the 1,000 RPMs of lost spin.
And a bit lower launch.
And a bit lower
you
launch.
You knew that would be the case.
Yeah, we're going to get that just from static loft. 24 is the static loft on the 6-iron. So it's,
and your 6-iron's what, like 28?
28.
So 4
So
degrees.
basically it's my 5-iron.
Yeah.
That's what 24 is when I play the 5-iron.
But this is the argument that gets kind of convoluted because it's like, okay, well, Ian, aren't you just hitting a 5-iron?
Yeah.
But in a way you are not, because a 5-iron in your set doesn't fly the same height as your 6-iron. Your 5-iron comes down a bit.
It comes down a little bit, and it definitely doesn't fly 215, that's for sure.
No. So descent angle would be a good thing to look at.
So 48 versus 45, I believe.
So that's close. I mean, 45 is plenty, you would say, with a 6-iron.
Yep, it is.
Lots of stopping power on the green.
Yep.
So even given that the spin is obviously lower, plenty of height. The ball, we saw it, the ball is stopping on the green. We don't have it on the softest settings. So a full 20 yards is exactly what we predicted.
So
crazy.
Yeah, I mean it's so fast. And like we said earlier, guys, you know, we were messing with the 4-iron earlier, just having a giggle with it. We had the thing going 275.
Yeah, you guys were flying at like, didn't you fly a few like 250?
I flew a few just over 250 with the 4-iron, kind of when we were hammering it.
Yes, in a way you could argue it is a stronger club,
Yeah.
but it's engineered to fly like the weaker club.
So this is for the player out there, the player who's sort of adding some additional dynamic loft, losing some distance through that.
Maybe has some spin to lose. Maybe
has some spin to lose for sure. So bendable and kind of looks good, feels good. It's worth trying. I'll say that to everyone.
Yep.
You know, if you're in the bracket and you sound like someone that we've described during this sort of video here. This isn't for everyone. I mean, I'm not going to go out and play these just because I hit my 6-iron 214. I don't really need to.
No.
To do that, it starts becoming a bit of a.
But if you hit your 6-iron 165 and you're kind of having a tough time on longer golf courses, if you can now hit your 6-iron 180,
definitely,
and maybe play with your lofts, put a degree on there, get your spin where you need it, have enough stopping power, like what are you losing at that point?
Nothing.
And so forgiving. I mean, the thin shots you hit where you were kind of like you didn't like the strikes.
There was a couple of stinkers in there.
I'm talking about 3 yards of carry loss. That's going to save you a lot of strikes.
I know.
So, I mean, let's be fair. Expensive as hell.
Yeah.
They're not going to be affordable for a lot of people.
That's right.
Put them on your Christmas list.
Yeah, and certainly get saving.
From the rich uncle.
That's exactly it.
All right, that was fun.
Okay, niche product. Not for everyone, but check it out when they come out. Go hit them. Go
to demo day and see. Yeah, I would say.
Hit them
even if you only ended up with like a driving iron or something.
I know.
Or you comboed two clubs at the end of your set.
A couple of our guys said that. They're like, can I put this as a sort of a 3-iron, sort of long iron replacement, the same way a lot of tour pros are putting in like a 919 Hot Metal Pro, that type of iron.
Smart.
Absolutely. I think we'll see these in some tour pros.
Wouldn't be surprised. You think Phil will play that?
Phil will put one of these in. It's just a rocket. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he comes out with like a 3 or 2-iron version that he can hit around 300 yards.
Portrush? Could he get it for Portrush?
Potentially, he could have that.
I feel like we'll see a couple at Portrush.
Yeah.
You would think. All right.
Excellent. Okay, guys. Appreciate you watching. We'll see you soon.